Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Review Zed podcast, the game review of the Zed to Zed podcast. If the game has achievements, then we try to cover it here. I'm your host, Damien, and thank you for listening. If you've listened to the Zed to Zed podcast in the past, then you're familiar with our format. We bring you a separate weekly show covering just reviews of new and sometimes overlooked Xbox titles. And don't forget to check out the regular Zed to Zed podcast while you're at it. That show's good too, just like this one, but we have more vitamin D.
All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to Review Zed.
Hello.
We got Team 2 here. It's myself, Proulx and Mango.
Good evening.
How are you doing, Mango?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Hey, we're still doing really good.
Yeah. GTAC, we're doing good. I failed out of the solo, but still going on the team.
Yeah. Unlike some other people that we know, but that's okay.
Yes.
We don't need to.
We won't mention names like Fufu.
Yeah. Or other people. But so let's talk about the bonus real quick.
All right. So the GTAC solo bonus is year one returns. End the scoring period having spelled taking it back to basics using the first letter of newly unlocked achievements. No special characters.
I was just about to ask if you were going to go for this, and then I realized,
I have no point of going for it. I should just do it because I can, but I know I won't.
Just to spite the system.
Yes. Down with the man.
I like the spelling ones, so I think I'll probably go for it and get it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the birthday challenge and such like that was used to be on the old podcast.
Yeah. What I do is, I'll wait till Monday or Tuesday and I'll check my list and then just check off what I already have. And usually it's pretty close, and you just have to go for some of the trickier letters. Although there's not really anything too bad in this.
Yeah, you got T, K. Yeah, there's actually not any really bad ones. The I's maybe.
Yeah. It'd be easy enough. Yeah. So I'll definitely be going for it.
I think that's doable for a lot of people.
Yep. All right. So let's start talking about... Okay, so this happened entirely coincidentally, but our review this week is actually covering Boss 101, which is coincidentally
the
Game of the Month. Yeah. So talk to us about... Tell me about Boss 101. What do you know?
Boss 101. It was published by Donnelly Time Foundation and developed by Donnelly Time Foundation, which is, by the way, 3 guys. It was released on Xbox May 18th, 2018, but it turns out it's much older than that. It was on Steam November 2nd, 2017, and even older still, a Flash version of the game came out November 11th, 2013. But the Flash version is obviously much more simple, but it's still the basic story of a guy by the name of Max, or Child, and his backpack, which is named Steve.
Yes, which is silly.
Yes.
So I guess we could start it with that. The story is very silly.
It's very silly.
Yeah. A lot of text, surprisingly. Like a lot of text.
A lot of text.
Which I wasn't expecting.
I wasn't expecting, and honestly, I skipped through a lot of it, but some of it I did pay attention to because it actually was pretty comical.
Yeah, I hung in there until like the second or third boss, and then it just became too much. Like it's relatively well written, I think.
Very well. I think they were going for a humoric side. I think they hit that pretty well, especially with the push the button.
Oh yeah, the push the button one was pretty good.
Yes.
But it just it became too much, and I'm like, okay, I just got to go fight this boss, and I just want to go beat the boss. I don't really care. They had this whole thing with the main bad guy, and he was. Yeah. I guess I don't want to spoil anything. Not that it really matters.
But I don't think you're really spoiling anything. The whole premise of the game is it's a boss shoot 'em up. So you create a boss, and then your goal is to kill him in a 2D style flying world where you're the boy with the backpack.
Yep. So it's a bullet hell shooter type game, but it's definitely very simple. You don't rotate your character at all. You just kind of go up and down the screen and shoot straight ahead and destroy the bad guys. And literally that's kind of it. That's pretty much all you do the whole game.
Yeah, and you have a main weapon, which is like a machine gun, and then you have secondary weapons. What did you use the most of? Did you actually use the secondary weapons a lot? Because I see you just focus on the machine gun, especially when it gets leveled up.
Once you upgrade the machine gun, all of the other guns are pointless. I actually never really used the other guns. I used them once or twice to try them out, but none of them were nearly as effective as the machine gun.
See, that's funny because then they have the achievement for getting all the guns, and there's no point.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there's also an achievement for getting all the hats, and there's like
No point.
300 hats. So
yeah, I've been using the time one. Which
if you want to save yourself a little bit of time, a very small amount of time, find that hat in the beginning of the game. You got to go into one of the menus. I can't remember which one it was. And put it on, because there's an achievement for beating all of the levels in part-time, basically. Yeah, and it removes that entirely.
Yeah, it looks like your face would look like a watch. Basically looks like a clock.
Yeah. And you can just easily just get that while you go through. In fact, the only time I changed was after I got the achievement when I beat the story mode, and then I did some of the cleanup stuff. It was really useful in the other boss modes where you had to do a bunch of waves.
Okay, like the endless boss mode?
Yeah, the endless boss mode, it was useful because when you could switch, because there were some pretty powerful hats I had since after I beat the game, where you did like minus 10 to boss health and, minus 15% to laser damage and all this sort of stuff. So that was actually useful for that mode.
Okay. But that's good to know, 'cause I have not finished the game yet.
Yeah. There are so many hats.
There's a ton of hats.
It's kind of silly.
And hats, they're not really hats per se. They are basically costumes. They call them hats in the game, but they're costumes.
Yeah, and most of them are like pop culture references, like Simpsons characters or something from South Park, or like a lot of video game references. Yeah, they look like Samus or something like that. But they put a lot of effort into a lot of this stuff. Like the menus, which kind of put me off at first, is basically a simulation of this big facility.
The menus. It was kind of off-putting at first because you get into the menu and like, where do I actually play the game?
Yep.
There's so much to look at and do, and the graphic style is done in like a 2D pixel art kind of style. I won't even say it's 8-bit or 16-bit. It's just kind of pixely. So it's kind of strange going through the menus and I just want to, where do I go to play? Turns out you have to back out and then you get to shoot.
Yep. Yeah, you have to back out, you press B, and then you can select from like an elevator menu, I guess is what it was. Yeah,
the elevator menu. And then you do launch game, and then you can actually create the bosses that you're supposed to shoot.
Yeah, so I guess the idea is that you kind of have an unlimited amount of bosses based on, I think there's 4 or 5 different pieces that go into the boss, and there's 40 pieces in each one of those categories. And so basically you can never fight the same boss twice. But it doesn't really matter that much because no matter what combination you get, your strategy is just kind of the same. You just dodge all the bullets.
Dodge the bullets and shoot and try not to die. And
never let go of the shoot button and try not to die. And the one thing that the boss does differently is some of the bosses dig into the ground and stay down there for a little bit. That was about... Oh, and then there are some levels where you'll get the boss down to half health and then he'll warp and you'll just have to...
Yeah, I ran into that one where they warp. I couldn't really figure out a lot of the bosses, like when it would have a special ability or when it wouldn't, because when you generate them, I just went off the bounty, and if I saw a really high bounty, I knew they were probably going to be harder than the lower bounty guys.
Yep. So when I first started playing the game, it's kind of really frustrating at first, like really frustrating.
Extremely frustrating. I totally agree.
That first time you play, you're so underpowered, and you're going to like fail 3 or 4 times. Kind of instantly.
Did you change the difficulty setting?
I didn't change the difficulty setting.
I went and actually changed it to easy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even really know that was.
Because none of the achievements are difficulty related.
Yeah. Although, I will say, whereas it feels hard in the beginning, as soon as you get like an upgrade or 2, the whole game is downhill after that.
Oh, like, yeah. It gets. I've noticed it's gotten easier since my gun is stronger.
Yep. My tip for people would be to invest in the points that give you more money first and just replay that first level a bunch. And then you can do the damage and the health and all that sort of stuff. And by the time you're at like level, I think I'd say 12 or 15 out of the 31 or 2 levels, you're not going to have a problem. It's literally just kind of a war of attrition at that point where you just sit there and shoot the guy for a whole bunch, and it's just not that hard.
Yeah, that's the way I figured if you did a little bit of early grinding, and it's not even that much grinding because the game isn't long. Just to build your guy up and then you just fly through the rest. Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to the achievements.
Yep. There's 32 of them. They range from, there's some mini games that are not related to the same style. of the regular just flying around shooting the bosses. I just did the tank one. Did you do obviously you did the other mini games too?
Yep, I did. There's a tank one, there's a breakout, clone, and then there's like a maze one, like a Pac-Man type one.
So they're all basically like old Atari styles, because the tank one is straight out of Combat.
Yep.
From the Atari 2600.
Yep, it's literally all three of them, and they're all super easy. It's not hard to do.
And then there's collectible based achievements where you have to get all the hats and get all the level 3 guns. And then obviously the level progression where you get to level 10, 20. Is it 10, 20, 30, 31?
Yes, I think. Yep, I believe that's right. And that's kind of it. So once you beat the game, you will have to get the one that seemed like it would take the longest at first was the get all the boss parts. So you have to defeat a boss with every type of component. It's not that bad. Once you're done with everything else, because you save that for last. Once you're done, you only have like probably less than 10. That's what I had.
Oh, okay. So not that many.
Yeah, and then what you can do is you can go into your menu and look at the silhouettes of the ones that you don't have, and then just keep regenerating the boss until it matches with that. So you know what you're missing.
Okay. See, I didn't know about the silhouette thing, so now that makes sense.
Yep. So it's actually a real easy cleanup. I had a little bit of trouble because there was one achievement, one thing in the game that I had to unlock that kind of cascaded into every other achievement. So I was missing like, I think 5 or 6 achievements. So every couple of levels, somebody in the level comes back and visits your base when you get back to the base after you beat the boss. And you have to click on the person, and then they release a pet. They unlock a pet for you, and then you can adopt that pet or whatever.
Okay. Yep. I did see the pet adoptions, but the pets are just there. They don't do anything in game.
No, they just fly around the base and stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to collect all the pets, which is pretty easy. But the thing is, I missed the level 2 guy, and I didn't know he was the level 2 guy. And there's no way to tell what level they were on.
Okay.
So I didn't, and they don't, it's not 100% of the time that they'll actually appear. So it could take 3 or 4 tries before you beat like level 2 and this guy appears. I didn't know it was level 2, so I didn't want to play all the levels again multiple times. So I was kind of frustrated, and I actually tweeted at the company, which is Donley Time Foundation.
Yep.
And to my surprise, they responded like in half an hour or so.
They're actually been very, very active in the community with trying to get the game promoted. They really wanted it on consoles, and they seem to be kind of giving the game away.
Yeah, it does seem there. I mean, even here in Discord, we have a ton of giveaways for this game, and yeah, they definitely seem to be promoting it.
So, how many hours did it take you to finish the game?
So
TA says about 6 to 8.
Yeah, I crossed the 10-hour mark. I would imagine a little bit of idle time is baked into that, and if I knew better, I could have done. If I known where that guy was previously, I would have been able to skip probably about an hour or so. So I'd say 9 hours is what you're looking at.
Yeah, I predict this will be kind of like Tesla Grad, where a lot of people beat the game for Game of the Month, I would assume. So it should be curious as to see what the stats are pulled up off of it. And then lastly, price, $14.99. It seems a little high to me. Maybe $9.99 would be a little bit fair, or even a little bit lower, just because of the type of game it is. It's not really. That's not very complex, I guess I would say.
Yeah, the thing is, like, there is a lot there's a lot of character in the game, and clearly a lot of work went into, like I said, all these hats and all these different, like, there's things in the game that are just there for fun. They don't even have any gameplay purpose. There's like this, you unlock a gopher hideout or something like that. You just go into that little area and all the gophers are dancing. That's all it is. Kind
of like the flying the kite scene too, where you just fly a kite and sit there.
Yeah, exactly. So that sort of stuff is neat and fun, and obviously required work to be put into there. So I can see kind of it's more like a $10 game in a $15 package. I think $15 is semi-fair, but $10 would definitely, I think, be the golden point for this game.
I think it would be the golden point, and for all I know, not a lot of people paid for the game anyway, because Donley Foundation keeps on giving it away.
It's true, yeah. A lot of similarities between this game and the game we reviewed 2 weeks ago, Reload Corpses EX.
Yes, a lot. Both shooters. One 2D. The other one was kind of isometric.
Yep. But So yeah, we kind of go in waves, patterns. Like
we do. We like the dark games, and now we're like in the shooters.
So.
But it's not a bad game. I mean, I definitely check it out, especially since it's Game of the Month. I think definitely get involved with that, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Definitely doable too. So it's nice to have another easy 1,000, and you'll have a good time for the most part playing the game. So
yeah, I think so.
So check it out.
Check it out,
and we will catch you guys all next time.
Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.